I guess you're all in the mood to laugh, but I hope you don't laugh at this. I was in the mood to laugh. How many of you ever heard of the best singer-songwriter ever named Jon Stewart, spelled S-T-E-W-A-R-T? Not a hand went up. I think of Jon Stewart every now and then. I've been going through kind of a rough patch these days. And I go over to the art museum, and I take a look at the paintings in the art museum, and I think about the fact that most of these people in the art museum who painted these pictures, nobody ever knew them. They didn't have the money to buy the frames of the pictures that are hanging there. People didn't understand them, maybe. Now, luckily, Jon Stewart had some people who understood him in the business. Bruce Springsteen, if you gave him that name, or Bob Dylan, they would perk right up. Say, Jon Stewart, he was one of the best ever. They'd at least say that. Now, a guy named Davy Jones died a few weeks ago. How many people ever heard of Davy Jones? Okay, he wrote a song. Actually, he didn't write it. He sang a song called Daydream Believer. It had lyrics such as, cheer up, sleepy Jean, oh, what does it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? Those lyrics were written by Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart stayed alive for about 15 years because of those lyrics that he wrote, and he was proud of it, actually. He had been a member of something called the Kingston Trio. How many people have ever heard of that? Tom Dooley, the MTA. That's good to hear. He was not one of the original trio members, however. He filled in, he came in for a guy named Dave Guard, who got disillusioned with the Kingston Trio. The Kingston Trio actually created the college concert tours. They were the first group to book great big amphitheaters, the kinds of places that Springsteen plays today. When Jon Stewart came in, however, he was a paid member of the group at $250 a week. He was also the spokesman of the group, the lead guitarist. He was the voice that you hear in a song called The Reverend Mr. Black, because the Reverend Mr. Black was my old man. And he was really the nuts and bolts that held it together. They had interviewed various people, including Papa John Phillips, became the Mamas and Papas. Instead, they picked Jon Stewart. He had a falling out with the Kingston Trio, however. He wasn't content to just make $250 a week and contribute all that he was contributing. And this is not to take away from the trio. It was a contract deal, and Dave Guard continued to make what he was making out of the deal. They had, at one time, 4 albums in the top 40, in the Billboard top 40 albums nationally. And still, this guy was making $250 a week. I saw him at San Diego State for $6 in 1970. And I went up to him and I said, John, I've always been a big Kingston Trio fan. My brother and I had these striped shirts, you know, like the trio wore. And we sang all the songs that the trio sang. And he said, wait a minute. I don't want to talk about the Kingston Trio. That was a time in my life, and I've gone on. And he continued to go on. He made about easily 35 different albums. How many of you have one of them? One of them made the top 40, called California Bloodlines, in the Billboard top 40 of all-time albums. One of those. His worst song, Gold, made it nationally. It was in the top 5. He did it with his friends Fleetwood Mac. The other day when I was feeling kind of low, I pulled out my old albums from Jon Stewart. And I wondered, where's life going to lead me? And sometimes when you're feeling kind of low, the lyrics and songs start to speak to you. And he did this one lyric, there are rivers, rivers that you do not see, there are rivers. They control our destiny, there are strange rivers, and we're sailors, you and me. And I thanked him for that. I thanked those guys, and they persevered and painted those paintings. that are hanging in that art museum. And I thank all you for coming around and listening to kind of a new form of art and participating in it. And I like the fact that I can see your faces, some of them giving something back to me, and I sure do appreciate it. Thank you.